Oh, New Super Mario Bros. What an underrated and great series. I don't understand why people hate these games so much. I would much rather play all of these games like 5 times and play Super Mario Bros. 3 once. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to rank every single castle level in all of these games from worst to best. These are some of their best levels in their respective games, so ranking them all is going to be tough, but I'm up for the challenge. Just 3 things before we start. 1. New Super Luigi U castles will be ranked separately towards the end of the video. 2. Any castle that isn't named in the game, I'm going to be giving a new name that I came up with, so all the Wii, DS, and 2 castles I gave a name to. And 3. This ranking is strictly the levels. The bosses are not accounted for in this ranking. With all of that out of the way, let's get this video started. 37. Fishbone's Flooded Castle. Now, I bet a lot of you guys are confused as to why this is here, as the level is clearly started at 6. But look at it itself. It's definitely a castle level aesthetically, and it plays the castle music throughout it, so it counts for the list. All of that just for this level to be terrible. It's a shame because the beginning and the flagpole area are this really cool setting with the ghost forest, and if that was incorporated into the level itself, then it might have been one of the best levels in the entire game. But it's an underwater auto-scroller. I think that says everything that needs to be said about this level. 36. Roy's Confusing Castle. This level is such a disappointment for Wii. The gimmick is that you need to choose a path to progress through the level, and if you choose incorrectly, you go back. While I like this idea, it's just ruined by the unnecessary auto-scroll that puts you at a snail's pace for the entire level. It just takes forever without enough action or challenge to keep it engaging. 35. The Final Battle. Like I said earlier, we aren't taking bosses into account, so sadly, the finale of New Super Mario Bros. U falls pretty far down due to the Bowser fight not being accounted for. This level is just some basic platforming with Bowser Jr. trying to kill you. It's not anything impressive. 34. Iggy's Lava Raft Castle. World 2 is not on a good run so far. Iggy's castle here is just pretty mid. Nothing really stands out except the fact that the boss is Iggy for some reason. This is just like a minor rant, but why is the Koopaling order in New Super Mario Bros. 2 just completely ruined? Everyone knows that the jungle is Iggy Land, so like, why did they put him in the desert here? Anyways, since I have literally nothing to talk about in this level, that's all I had to say. This level is just boring. 33. Lackey Thunder Snake Block Castle. It's really disappointing seeing a 7 castle this low, but snake block levels have never really been my favorite, and this one doesn't really do anything interesting with it to make it more fun. It's just a mediocre level, really only saved by the last star coin being really good. 32. Mega Goomba's Swaying Castle. This is the start of the levels I don't think are bad or mid, but are just kind of forgettable. I like these swaying platforms, but their problem is that there's a better level that does this gimmick like way better, much higher on the list. This feels like a New Super Mario Bros. 2 level, and I mean that in the worst way possible. I mean, it's still fine, it's just kind of boring. 31. Roy's Conveyor Castle. This level feels way too similar to Morton's in this game, but not necessarily in a good way. I feel like it doesn't really stand out like at all compared to its contemporaries. And U has some of the best castles in the series, as you'll see later on the list, so this one's just a huge disappointment. 30. Roy's Rope Swing Castle. Roy has really not done well in this ranking, huh? This is just a basic castle level. It doesn't really stand out to me in any way, much like the game it originates from. As a one-dash castle, it's fine, but there's much better ones, like 29. Bowser's Tightrope Castle. This level's pretty neat. As the first castle level in the series, it feels fleshed out and like a proper introduction to the concept. I like the part with the spiky compactors, and I really like some of the star coin placements. Overall, a pretty solid level. 28. Morton's Compactor Castle. I get this level and Roy's castle in this game mixed up quite frequently, and it's not very hard to see why. This one's just some solid platforming. It's not that high due to most other castles in U being like way more unique and memorable than this one, but it's not terrible or anything. It's just alright. 27. Dry Bowser's Switch Shift Castle. I actually really like this level. It has a good gimmick, it's not too long, and it has some good and challenging star coins. And it's pretty difficult. But the thing is that these are some of the best levels in the entire 2D Mario series, so even these like B-tier levels are getting left in the dust towards the bottom of this list. 26. Lemmy's Bouncy Castle. This is one of the most unique levels in the entire game, but it still somehow isn't one of my favorites, to be honest. I like how this level combines conveyors and bouncy mushrooms to make for a uniquely challenging level. I also really like that secret area where you go above the level and see where the enemies are spawning from. I also really like it when Lemmy's balls are in the castle levels. It adds some, like, flavor if you know what I mean. It makes it feel like in Lemmy's place, obviously. 25, Morton's Snake Spike Castle. This level is pretty similar to Lemmy's castle in this game, so that's why they're ranked together. They both use a common type of platform in an interesting way to make their levels more unique, this one being focused on snake blocks that push spike balls. As I said earlier, I don't really like snake blocks, but because this level isn't based around just riding one the entire level, it's pretty enjoyable. The ending part with the 3 big balls is probably my favorite section of the level. 24, Monty Tank's Stone Slab Castle. This level is fun, but it feels misplaced. In the context of DS, this is the last level before World 8, but it feels like this could be a World 1 castle. It's very basic for how late in the game this is. Even the star coins are pretty simple and straightforward. My favorite part of this level is probably the vertical section at the end, but that's about it. 23, Wendy's Buzzsaw Castle. Surprisingly, buzzsaws go pretty underused in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, so it's cool that they got a whole castle here to shine. The second half where there's the big buzzsaws chasing you is also pretty cool, even if they are slow. We're starting to get into some levels that I really enjoy here. 22, Lemmy Swing That Castle. This is a really good introduction castle, and this is the first one where I can compliment the item choice too, since a lot of the castles so far have been from DS and 2, which have way more limited items than the console games. The Super Acorn makes this level. It feels like the perfect playground for you to mess around with it in. Even without the Super Acorn, it's a really enjoyable level, but again, it helps so much. 21, Ludwig's Chain Link Castle. Here's our first Ludwig castle, and it's kinda disappointing. Spoilers for later in the video, but the other two are much higher on the list. But this level just feels like it could be in any world. It doesn't feel like a Ludwig castle or like a 7 castle like it should be. It just feels like it's a 2 castle, if that makes any sense. The level itself is pretty cool though. I like the chain fences, and it's cool to see them in combination with the tracks to make them move around. I like the gimmick where you can hit the fences themselves to make them like jump up or down the track. That's actually pretty cool and unique. 20, PD Piranha's Assembly Castle. Oh, this one's just plain fun. Dodging piranhas and dry bones, trying to nab the star coin with a spring on the conveyor, and a lot of precise platforming. It's just a really fun level without any flaws or anything. I also like it when castles incorporate their world's theme into it, so I like how there's an icy portion of this level towards the end. It adds some extra flavor. 19, Bowser's Castle Wii. Here's our second final castle and our second Wii castle on the list. And the fact that this is only the second one to show up says more about the Wii castles than it does this level. But anyways, like I said previously, we aren't accounting bosses, so this level takes a bit of a hit. But even then, this is still a fantastic level. You have a great beginning portion with some tough platforming, avoiding the fire bars and the fireballs. But then you have that lowering lava section with the platforms. Man, I love that part of this level. It's just a great level all around. Pretty short and sweet. It's just a great finale to my favorite game in the series. 18, Larry's Gear Castle. This is my favorite World 1 castle, and it's honestly just a fantastic level all around. I really like the spinning cogs gimmick, and flying above them to that secret area with the propeller is really cool. I also really like that part in the middle with the thwomps. It's just a nice change of pace before you get back to the gears for the end of the level. This one's really fun to play through normally and rush through. 17, Larry's Spike Ball Castle. This is one of my favorite castles from 2. Definitely a standout from the game for me. I love the idea of a huge spike ball chasing you down the entire level while womps are trying to slow you down. This level also has a really good star coins. One past this huge womp after the first spike ball, and another requiring a Tanuki leap to reach. The intermission room with the checkpoint is also a nice touch. It just adds some personality to the level. 16, Sheep Skipper's Womp Castle. Well, here's another Womp heavy level. This one feels more focused on them than the last. I've always liked their inclusion in these games, as you wouldn't think they would work in 2D, but they're surprisingly intuitive in these games. I also like the use of skewers here. You'll notice that a lot of my favorite castles in these games all include skewers, so they're a really nice touch here. 15, Iggy's Volcanic Castle. It has been a while since we've seen Iggy, and he's really upped his game here. This feels like a traditional castle level in the best way possible. It's just a good platforming level with an extra crispy surprise for when you fail. Swinging on the chains is also a nice little homage to the fact that this is a jungle castle, since the vines have like the same physics as them. 14, Red Hot Elevator Ride. This level is no joke. Honestly, this is one of the hardest levels in the entire game. I really like rising lava levels. It adds so much urgency and panic to what would otherwise be something pretty simple. This level uses that so effectively, as it is just so stressful when your elevator suddenly freezes due to a Goomba or something falling onto it. Just a fun and challenging late game stage. 13, Larry's Torpedo Castle. you know that if a water castle is this high up, it is actually a good level. The underwater part actually might be my favorite part because dodging all the torpedoes is extremely stressful. The penguin suit makes it better, but you know how rare those are in this game. The non-aquatic part is also really fun, with tons of burners and fences to keep this part really engaging. Also, this level gives the ice flower, which is probably my favorite Mario power-up besides like the penguin suit, which is just a better version of the ice flower. So yeah, Larry has actually done a pretty good job at having really good levels lately. 12. Wendy's Skewer Castle. And here's the slightly better Waterworld castle. Skewers are, again, really fun obstacles, and this castle uses them extremely well. Each part of this level has a unique flow to it that I really like. You got the fences to climb on in the first part, then the second part is focused more on avoiding the skewers using actually tricky platforming, and then the third part you have the fish bones underwater section, and then the huge skewer towards the end that you got to avoid. Everything about this level is just a top tier Mario castle. 11. Bowser's Burner Castle. I really like this level, but similarly to Wii's Final Castle, it kind of falls back since we aren't talking about the boss. But I think this is a pretty cool level. But the first half of it is honestly just okay. It's just some basic platforming, but what really brings it up this high is the second half with the Koopalings trying to petrify you in the back. The thing is that there's a castle in this game that literally is just that the entire time, so it's like way higher than this one. But it's still a pretty cool level. 10. Pendulum Castle. This is our second Special World Castle, and after the travesty that was Stardust 6, this is much more what I was expecting from a World 9 castle. This might actually be the most difficult level in this game, and I am not complaining. The fact that there's like 7 different challenges for this level alone in the challenge mode tells you all that you need to know about this level. It shows how many differing ways you can play it too. Great star coins, great challenge, overall banger level. 9. Morton Seesaw Castle. Okay, this one probably shouldn't be this high up actually, but I don't care. I love this level. It's pretty much if Mega Goomba's castle was actually good. The second half of this level with the spike balls is really creative, with them falling on you as you jump between moving platforms. The secret star in this section also adds some extra depth because it allows you to go above the level and slime out all the spike balls. I also like the beginning part where you can get an ice flower and kill all the dry bones with it. Just a really cool level with a fun gimmick and some good challenge. 8. Lemmy's Ice Snake Castle. I am actually blown away that they managed to make a snake block level this entertaining. I think what makes this level so fun for me is the fact that you get the penguin suit, and this is the only castle level in the entire series with this item. I think also, because it's an icy snake block, it makes it feel much less boring because you'll be sliding around trying to avoid the icicles. I also like the intermission part with the bombs and the checkpoint. It's just a nice little break. This is just the perfect castle level for an ice world. You got icicles, icy snake block, penguin suits, and ice blocks littering the level. Also, Lemmy's balls make their grand return after New Super Mario Bros. 2, which is also nice to see. 7. Bowser's Twisted Castle. Now this is a great finale to New Super Mario Bros. DS. This is genuinely an amazingly designed, challenging level with some of the most unique mechanics in the entire game. The maze aspect in the first half is just so cool, and seeing the level flip and letting you access previously inaccessible areas to continue almost reminds me of a Metroidvania the way it's set up. However, the second part borrows a page from Roy's Castle in Wii with the pick and path nonsense, which knocks this level down a few placements. Still a really creative finale to the game that started it all. 6. Ludwig's Clockwork Castle. Here's another Koopaling who we haven't seen in a while. This might aesthetically be the best castle in the entire series. I love the dark, stormy background. It really makes this level actually feel like the end of the game. I said previously that I love when the world's aesthetics and mechanics are present in the castle, so this one is one of my favorites. It's also just a really tough level with some great star coin placements, tough enemies, and the huge clockwork platforms really make this level a challenging one. 5. Dry Bowser's Koopaling Castle. Like I said earlier, this is basically just the good part of 6 Castle, but extended into an entire level. The fact that this level uses a snake block doesn't even bother me, because it makes the Koopaling stone attack so much more challenging. It gets to a point where you have to time your jumps perfectly to avoid the stone. This is probably the hardest level in New Super Mario Bros. 2, but also probably my favorite. You had a great run too, but unfortunately, you're the first one out. 4. Wendy's Shifting Castle. This is definitely my favorite castle from U. The dark, foreboding theme really adds to my enjoyment. I love those platforms that are always 90 degrees. They make for some really interesting jumps. But my favorite part of the level is definitely the thwomps and the thwimps. They surprisingly really match with the platforms and lead to some really fun moments with the thwimps. I love this level so much. 3. Mummy Pokey Spiky Castle.
This castle starts out really good and just gets better with every part. The first time I played this level and went to the outside section, I knew this was going to be one of my favorite levels in the game. The star coins are great. I like how you have to terraform the level with switches and avoid the spike balls rolling down the hills at the same time. Definitely my favorite castle from DS.
So before we get to the top 2, it's time to rank all the Luigi U castles real quick. I'm not going to go in depth about any of these, but here's my ranking from worst to best. 8 Castle 2, 6 Castle, 5 Castle, 2 Castle, 8 Castle 1, 9-8, 1 Castle, 7 Castle, 3 Castle, 4 Castle. So pretty similar to my Mario U ranking, but there are some few differences. Also, while we're in an intermission, I'd like to credit Nintendo Central, Nintendo Base, and Pack Attack 04082 for the footage of New Super Mario Bros. Wii and 2. Without it, this video wouldn't be possible. I'm going to link their channels in the description. So, yeah, thanks for not copywriting, hopefully, but if you do, I kind of understand. 2. Iggy's Rolling Chain Castle. Iggy's Wii Castle is not only one of the best castle levels in Wii, but I genuinely think it's one of my favorite 2D Mario levels of all time. There is just so much to love about this level. You got the propeller suit and the ice flower in the same level, which are literally the 2 best items in this game. Then you got Iggy shooting spells at you the whole time. You got all the fireballs and tight platforming. You got the fences leading to some great segments when combined with the spinning platforms. You have some of the best star coins in the entire series. This level is just perfect. Iggy has really redeemed himself. But I blame his poor performance in 2 on the fact that he wasn't in the jungle, which is where the Iggy belongs. A phenomenal 10 out of 10 level. But there's still one castle that's better. This was the easiest number 1 placement of my life. Ludwig's Castle in Wii is 2D Mario at its very best. Firstly, the visuals. This is one of the best looking castles in the entire series. I've always wished that you could combine level themes in Mario Maker, and I think this level is the reason why. It is genuinely so good looking with that Sky Ruins aesthetic. And while I like the stormy aesthetic in U7 Castle, something about this one being normal, with the castle itself being in disrepair, makes it just so unique visually. Now for the actual gameplay. This level is not easy. You got Sumo Bros, Dry Bones, and tons of skewers. Huge ones too. They're constantly colliding rapidly, forcing you to act quickly and carefully. To highlight some of my favorite parts, you got the 2 Sumo Bros on the stairs, the room where the second star coin is hidden that shows how large the skewers truly are, and that ending portion that has skewers barreling towards you from every side, forcing you to run as fast as you can to the end, or crouch in a very specific spot to avoid damage. What else is there to say about this level? You probably expected this to be at least top 5, but it definitely takes the cake as my favorite castle level from New Super Mario Bros. And that's about it for today's video. But before we go, here's some averages I calculated for each of the recurring bosses, worlds, and games. Calculating the bosses made me realize how much Roy got screwed over with some of these levels, but at least he has a really good tower in Wii. Unsurprisingly, Ludwig has the best average, while Wendy comes in as a sleeper pick for second, and Larry and Dry Bowser end up tying for third. But for the worlds, World 7 obviously leads with a 13.33 which is different than Ludwig's average despite him almost always being in World 7, due to New Super Mario Bros. 2 being weird and not having a World 7. Then World 5 comes in second due to Iggy locking in with his World 5 entries, and Ludwig and Petey giving some decent levels too. Then World 3 is in third, which is funny because World 3 has a different theme in practically every single game in the series, but the castles are always good, so I guess it doesn't really matter. And for the games themselves, funnily enough, it pretty much lines up exactly how I would rank the games themselves, with Wii in first, then U in second, DS in third, and 2 in last. Anyways, that's all for today. Maybe if this video does well, I'll rank all the towers. But that's all I got for you guys. See ya.